The Niger Delta is made up of 9 states with 31 million people from more than 40 ethnic groups. For nearly 2 decades, the Niger Delta, a region rich in abundant natural and human resources, has been continually hit with devastating conflicts and crises. These conflicts have been devastating on the communities and their livelihoods. But now, many people are engaging in peace-building activities in their communities. Warri is a small town in the Niger Delta that has seen much crisis in recent years. The Warri Ijo Itsekiri group is one group who has worked to calm the situation.
So we have this conflict that involved the 3 tribes, and it got to a point where nobody was safe. It involved a lot of carnage. It took so many lives on all the divides.
Sometime in 2004, at the heat of the conflict that arose between the Itsekiris and the Jos, came to its climax in 2004.
It got so bad that Warri came to a standstill. Most businesses went bankrupt. It got so bad that the mainstay of the Warri economy, which are the oil companies and the oil servicing companies, all had to pack shop and relocate to Port Harcourt. The issues were identity, the issues were constitutional, the issues were cultural, and the issues were territorial. That was why we fought. It got so bad that if you had an Itsekiri wife living with you and in an Ijo town, you needed to tell her to go on a break for fear that some persons could possibly attack her. It was the same thing on both sides.
Invitations were extended in the name of a community hall meeting into a military facility here in Warri. At the end of the day, after the initial meeting, the youths were now asked to wait behind with the elders going away, not knowing that they had the mind of trying to detain for further interrogations the various youth leaders whom the then governor of the state once described as commanders and grand commanders in their own rights in the battlefield between the Jos and the Itsekiris.
It was in the course of that detention that we decided to rub minds and came to a miraculous decision that we could resolve this whole thing by collaborating. That led to the formation of the body that we're now referring to as Warri Ijo Itsekiri Grassroots Peace Front. The only way you can build peace out of negotiation is when both parties are willing to talk. So we had a situation where the Ijo warriors and the Itsekiri warriors were willing to talk.
Basically, when the crisis came, trust was broken down. Nobody believed each other. That mutual respect that we had all went away. So the first thing we identified was that let us first of all build confidence, build trust through mutual interaction.
The other thing was we had to build social interaction. You see, when you don't know a man, it is easy for you to draw conclusions and deductions. Most times that are not right. You can just look at this, you now, somebody can just look at you and say you are a very arrogant person because the person is making those deductions from a distance. But when you have social intercourse, when people begin to mingle together and live and do things together on a daily basis, it now exposes the other man. And you now begin to see that the man you thought was a demon, actually is not a demon, but it's a human being.
Like marriages, like birthdays, like housewarming, all kinds of social things was what we used very fastly in building back that trust, because what we lost was the trust. And once we're able to get back the trust that I can trust you, you can trust me, then every other thing was secondary.
So we had to do all of this reorientation, talk to people, get them to change their mindset, get them to begin to understand that we all have a lot to gain by allowing peace to reign.
We created the enabling environment. We went from community to community on both sides with both people together in the same committee, preaching the peace, preaching the gospel that it is only when there is peace that we can progress. It is only when there is peace that happiness can be. It is only when there is peace that our social life can improve. It's only when there is peace that all others can take place.
Some of us had to go on television to begin to propagate a peace agenda, educate people on why it is necessary for them to embrace peace and abandon violence.
We got a slot out of the state's television program called Delta Broadcasting Service, where we had a corner called Peace, Talking Peace. That segment was created specifically to disseminate and to preach the gospel of peace into the nooks and crannies of the entire area where this crisis had been, so as to reach out to get back what we have lost.
This peace-building initiative is just one of many across the Niger Delta. But there is also much work to be done to avoid ongoing conflicts and the devastating effect it has on the livelihoods of the communities. To find out more about peace-building activities in the Niger Delta, join Partners for Peace.
Be a partner for peace. Let us be peaceful in the Niger Delta.